Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. As Hope pleads with Thomas to build a future together, Paris insists she's not worried about losing her fiancé. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, at soaps.com and receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. On today's Bold and Beautiful, Hope's in shock after hearing the Thomas and Paris news. You and Paris are, what? She rehashes the engagement news and Thomas confirms. They kept things private to give it time. They spent time together while Paris was at Forrester International and fell for each other. Douglas goes over to Hope and says, "It's okay, Mom. His dad really loves Paris. This is for real." He then leaves with Paris after telling Hope how much he missed her. Alone, Hope just has one word. Wow. How could I have been so wrong? How could I have misread that? She really thought he came back to restart their life together. Why are you doing this? Hope asks, wondering if Paris cares that Thomas was engaged to her sister and proposed to Hope not long ago. He needed to move past his feelings, and Hope spits out, "So this is how you do it? There's only so many times you can get shot down before you have to give up your dream," he tells her. She says the timing wasn't right, and he counters that while a part of him will always love Hope, he had to move on. "You gave me no choice." Hope apologizes for hurting him and letting him down, but that didn't mean she stopped loving him or wanted him to leave. He says he had to, but in tears she tells him he didn't have to. He could have worked it out. "Have you just forgotten everything that we shared?" "No," he says. He'll never forget what they had. "Then how can you move on so quickly with someone else, like we were nothing?" Thomas says he and Paris have something special too. Hope wants to be happy for him, but she can't. He doesn't expect her to, but it's going to be okay. Thomas was her rock, no matter what. His love and devotion were something she could count on. A one-woman man. And you still are, aren't you? Only that woman isn't me anymore, is it? But, Paris, is he sure? Steffy and Ridge meanwhile are talking about Hope for the future. Steffy is reluctantly going along with the plan to give Hope more time to prove herself. But the line hasn't been the same since Thomas left. "Good news, Steffy." Ridge agrees with her, but he still thinks RJ and Zend pull it back up to grade again. They then get into Hope going off the rails, ever since Thomas made the wise decision to take Douglas and leave for Paris. Just as they're talking about how good Paris has been to Thomas and Douglas and the fact that Steffy has been talking to them, Ridge's grandson bursts in, "Grandpa." They're surprised to learn that Douglas and Thomas are there. "Not just us, his fiancé too," Douglas says. Steffy marvels that they're engaged. Then Paris comes in and Ridge realizes Steffy knew about the two of them. She did, but not that they were engaged. Douglas mourns that he gave it away before his dad could. Paris notes that Ridge is surprised. "Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't know you were dating." They send Douglas off to visit Charlie so they can talk. Paris notes that Steffy and Ridge must have a lot of questions. Ridge wants to know how long they were dating, since shortly after Thomas moved to Paris. He didn't want to say anything when Ridge visited because he wanted time with his dad. She says his first few weeks in Paris were sad and lonely. She was just trying to cheer him up at first, but then they formed a profound connection. She loves Thomas and knows he loves her. In the show's final moments, Steffy and Ridge admit they're both caught off guard. Steffy notes that Thomas never mentioned marriage. "Where is he anyway?" With Hope, Paris says, Okay." Steffy responds, casually asking how Hope took it. Paris says she left them alone to talk, and Steffy asks if that was wise given their history. Thomas moved on, but Hope isn't ready to let go. "It's fine," says Paris. She believes in Thomas and the fact that he's over Hope. Hope, meanwhile, demands to know if Thomas really loves Paris. "I asked her to marry me." She says that doesn't answer her question, but he says it did. He asked Hope twice and she turned him down. Hope says that whatever he and Paris have will never even be close to what we shared. Rome, the fashion show, the kiss in front of the Colosseum. It was real. They created something beautiful, deep and true. A man has never moved me the way that you do, she says in tears. Everyone was trying to break them apart, but no one could. They've got a future if they just want it. You don't have to marry Paris, Thomas, please. Thomas just looks at her as she stands right in front of him in tears. Hope's eyes shimmered with tears as she stood on the edge of the park, the soft glow of the setting sun casting a golden hue over everything. The air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the distant laughter of children playing, but Hope's heart felt heavy. She had never imagined herself in this position, pleading with someone she loved. Here she was, pouring her heart out to Thomas. Thomas, she began, her voice trembling slightly, we've been through so much together. We've faced challenges that would have broken most people, but we're still here, standing strong. I believe in us. I believe in the future we can build together. Thomas looked at her, his expression a mixture of uncertainty and sorrow. He ran a hand through his hair, the weight of the decision pressing heavily on him. Hope, it's not that simple. There's so much at stake. There are so many people involved, so many feelings. Hope took a step closer, her eyes locking onto his. I know it's complicated, Thomas. But love isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be worth it. And I know, deep down, that what we have is worth fighting for. We can make it through this if we just believe in each other. As she spoke, her mind wandered to Paris, Thomas's fiancée. Paris, with her effortless grace and unwavering confidence. Paris, who seemed to have it all together. Hope had always admired her strength, her ability to remain calm and composed no matter the situation. But now that same strength felt like a looming shadow over her dreams. Paris, meanwhile, was sitting in their shared apartment, a serene smile on her face. She glanced at her reflection in the mirror, adjusting a strand of her curly hair. She had heard about Hope's plea to Thomas, but it didn't faze her. She trusted Thomas completely. She knew their bond was unshakable. Why should I worry? She mused to herself, her voice soft but firm. Thomas loves me. He chose me. And I trust him. Hope might be desperate. But desperation isn't a foundation for a relationship. Trust and understanding are. As she walked to the balcony, she recalled the moments she and Thomas had shared. The late-night talks, the laughter, the dreams they had built together. She felt a deep sense of security in their love, a love that had been tested and had emerged stronger. Back in the park, Hope's plea continued. Thomas, I know you have feelings for Paris, but I also know you have feelings for me. We can't ignore what's in our hearts. We owe it to ourselves to explore this, to see where it can lead. Thomas sighed, the weight of the decision bearing down on him. Hope, I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to make promises I can't keep. Hope reached out, gently touching his arm. I'm not asking for promises, Thomas. I'm asking for a chance. A chance to build something beautiful. A chance to see if our dreams can become reality. Thomas looked into her eyes, seeing the sincerity and the hope that shone there. He felt a tug in his heart, a pull towards a future he hadn't dared to dream of. But then the image of Paris flashed in his mind. Her smile, her unwavering support, her love. I need time, he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. I need to figure this out. Hope nodded, a mixture of relief and sorrow washing over her. Take all the time you need, Thomas. I'll be here, waiting. I believe in us. I believe in our future. As Thomas walked away, his mind a whirlwind of emotions, Hope stood there, watching him go. She felt a flicker of hope, a glimmer of possibility. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was willing to fight for what she believed in. Paris, unaware of the deep turmoil in Thomas's heart, continued with her day, confident in their love. She believed in their future, a future she had meticulously planned and dreamed of. She trusted Thomas, knowing that their bond was strong. As the days passed, Thomas found himself torn between two worlds. He spent hours reflecting, weighing his feelings, and considering his future. He loved Paris deeply, admired her strength and grace. But there was something about hope, a spark, a connection that he couldn't ignore. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Thomas found himself at the park again, the same spot where Hope had poured her heart out to him. He sat on a bench, the cool breeze whispering through the trees, and closed his eyes. Images of both women filled his mind, Paris with her serene smile, and Hope with her passionate plea.